hand checks a bit O'Leary and Taylor. And, well, Peter Taylor can't be disappointed. I don't think, Chef, his club gave it all they had. But a little bit of brilliance by Garrett Barry, helped out by deflection from Leon Ford. Different this match. Aston Villa, the threat of the FA Cup victory over Hull City.
Each year, a footballer gets his brilliant. The FA Cup with live match through to the final. The FA Cup on ESPN.
When a boxer prepares, he's only thinking of success. He's only thinking destruction. But to conquer, he must obliterate the hopes of his opponent and be the only man standing. Fight night, only on ESPN.
Bladder control is an issue, and I've mastered that.
You need to be drinking at the right time during the 2-hour session, so on the break, please.
Thanks for joining us again. Luton, Liverpool coming up here on ESPN. Check your low listing. Good day. All the best.
Major League Baseball and X Games coming ESPN.
Joe Gibbs' Redskins in their place in the postseason with a win. Ends now. I'm America. You know what that means? It's do or die time for both of these teams. The winner moves on full speed ahead.
Collison, thanks for joining us again. Luton and Liverpool coming up here on ESPN. Check your little listing. Good day, all the best.
Major League Baseball, the Racing League, and the X Games coming to ESPN.
Joe Gibbs' Redskins are in the place in the season with the last. In the season, NFL Wildcard Weekend begins now. Playoff time, America. You know what that means? It's to die time for both these teams. The winner moves on full speed ahead. The loser goes home. Enough said. The fans are up. The riders are right. Not all enough NFL postseason fight. Come on and get it. Are you ready for the ball? A wild ride. ABC has the keys. So let this baby started. Super Bowl 40 in sight. And welcome to Wild Card Saturday. The NFL playoffs begin now on ESPN. An NFC matchup between the Washington Redskins and their 10-6 record versus the 11-5 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Brown with you for now from our Bristol studios of ESPN. We're taking it right up to kickoff at Rinching Stadium in Tampa Bay. Get here on ESPN. The NFL Wild Card matchup between Washington and Tampa Bay. It's coming up next.
National Football League.
House at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa Bay. Tampa, real. In the Tampa Bay area where the Redskins and Buccaneers are ready to get going. The Buccaneers defense is going to be focused on this man. Clinton Piss with a 1,500-yard rushing season this year and 11 touchdowns. He is outstanding for Joe Gibbs, helped to run his team into the postseason. And coming down to the playoff, Clinton Portis has his own game plan in mind.
Well, you know, they got that water there, and it's going to be winds blowing this way. I say we throw this ball. That Taylor Jake and that Santana Moss guy, they're fast. If we can win to catch that ball and it land in their hands, and I call pain in the air, this is the end on. I'm telling you, we win the formula. That's a winning formula.
Well, John Gruden, 5-2 his playoff career and a perfect 3-0 record with Buccaneers on their way to that Super Bowl victory a couple of seasons ago. Mike Patrick, Joe Theismann, Paul Guire on hand for the opening kickoff out in Tampa. We'll sit out them now. The start of Wild Card Saturday. Here's chance. But first, it will be the Bucs.
Mike, is this place electric or what? I mean, you absolutely know that it is the first round of playoffs. The first game kicked everything off in postseason.
I'm glad nobody in my neighborhood has the sound system that's be deaf. John Hall, who had leg problems earlier in the year, has it up. And Michael Pittman. Pittman volunteered for kickoff return duty against the Saints and averaged a 30 yards return. He has given them a big boost back there. They need because Idell Shepard moved up number 3 in wide receiver spot. Pittman from the 14. Stays up feet to the 38-yard line. Let's meet Buccaneers on it.
University of Texas. And they're battle last week. Auburn. Michael Stunt, Purdue University. Joey Galloway, Ohio State. Ike Hilliard, University of Florida. Anthony Beck, 2006 Super Bowl champions, West Virginia University. Anthony Davis, Virginia Tech. Dan Bennett, Wisconsin. John Wade, Marshall. Sean Mahan, University of Notre Dame. Otto Walker, with Gators.
Great start for the Bucs at their own 39-yard line. They open with 2 tight ends. Mike Williams is a single setback, and he'll get the kick. Across the 40 to about the 42. Let's look at the Redskins defense.
Los Angeles, Georgia. Joe Laville, Arizona. Chris Griffin, University of Alabama. Bernardo Wynn, Notre Dame. Washington, Hospital. Lamar Martin, Mississippi State. LeVar Arrington, North Carolina. Fort Harris, Mississippi State. Flying Club, LSU. Sean Taylor, University of Miami. Colorado, Auburn.
Reagan's missing the best bench back. Sean Springs is out with a groin injury for at least another week. Gang tackling by the Redskins. Ronaldo and Lamar Marshall in the middle linebacker spot.
Well, Cadillac, we've got to understand something about this game. Don't cut back against a team that's that fast on defense, especially when their linebackers as good as. But Ronaldo Wynn was the defensive end, came down, made the playoff. He's got great numbers, this guy.
The first rookie in the history of the lift his career with 300-yard games. Idell Shepard in as an additional wide receiver on 3rd and long. Sims. Blitz. Good protection, and now down he goes. From behind to meet Evan, the backup defensive end with the first sack of the postseason.
And this is the first time that Chris Sims has been sacked at the Redskins. He was on his feet all through the last game, but you get the pressure from the right side. This is the biggest concern. Comes on his side, right up the middle. Chris Sims is not going to run away from anybody. He can move. He's going to have to stay in the pocket. They're going to have to protect him.
Well, Pro Bowl punter kicks to Antonio Brown, the speeder. From the 25, slips, lost the ball, got it back at 37. 12-yard return. Let's meet the Skins event.
Mark Brunell, University of Washington. Chris Cooley, Utah State. Clem Ford, U. Jack Thrash, Sarasota. Moss, U. Alvarado, LSU. Chris Samuels, Alabama. Garrett, University of Texas. Casey Raba, Wisconsin. Leonard A. Brown Jr., Arkansas State. John Jason, Michigan.
A. Brown, his 20th season in the NFL. Age 43, he is a starter again after the injury to Randy Tuff.
And he still doesn't sweat.
He is an amazing athlete. He is the man motion. Clinton against outstanding run defense. Oh, gets a yard. Let's look at the Buccaneer defense.
Yeah, right. From the University of Illinois.
Anthony McFarland, national champion, LA Tigers.
Chris Holden, Cleveland Nations. Greg Myers, Florida State. Derek Brooks, Florida State. Seth Ward, Vanderbilt. Ryan Neese, UCLA. Rondé Barber, Virginia. Jermaine Phillips, University of Georgia. Jackson, Florida State. Buck Kelly, USC.
James Trash in as an additional wide receiver. He's number 83. Portis off the right side, no to go. You get the feel this game is going to be a battle of wills.
Well, yeah, and there's wills on every one of these guys. You know, the thing about it is when you take a look at this defensive line and also Redskins, look at those guys that are line scrimmage. They're taking off in their head directly for Portis. They don't care that you're going to throw the ball. If you want to go and throw the ball, go ahead. this isn't going to get anything on it.
The Redskins committed, or recommit, should I say, to the run in the last 5 games. Won them all, and Curtis has been on fire. One rush on Brunell. Good time and throws. Cooley, who has become his favorite receiver.
Mark Brunell really provides them tremendous veteran leadership. Had a bad knee really last week as the Philadelphia Eagles wasn't able to stride and step forward. Good protection up front. Chris Cooley, it's the middle of the defense. You see the middle linebacker take off and get out of the way.
The numbers on Mark Brunell: 23 touchdown passes, only 10 picks. And he's basically had 2 guys to throw to most of the year. Portis again lowers his shoulder and picks up a couple. Ever since David Patton got hurt, it's been the long pass to Santana Moss, the short stuff to Cooley.
Well, it's amazing. We sat in a meeting 2 days ago with John Gruden and said, Coach, what about Cooley? He said, I can assure you we will have someone on him on every single down. He was wide open.
Well, if you're going to play zone, he'll work the middle of that defense.
Sellers is number 4-5 in front of Portis. Good receiver, terrific blocker. And Brunell's going to have to burn a timeout. He didn't like the way the Redskins were lined up against what saw as a blitz coming. Back to 10 in a moment.
On this week's episode of Pundy Interruption, take a look at all the action from 2005, the sporting year, with our best of shows. We review all the highs and lows from the cricket, NRL and AFL seasons. We revisit all the exclusive interviews, famous quotes, as well as bold predictions from 2005. So tune in weekdays for Australia's premier sports talk show on the world's premier sports network with the world's premier sports wardrobe. Tuesday, 5:30 and 9 only on ESPN.
Deserted, determined, and downright dangerous. Prepare for January on the Biography Channel. Every Sunday, get to know Hollywood's hottest action heroes. Go on the set of one of the biggest TV shows, 2005.
I feel like I was this souped-up car parked in a garage, you know, and nobody wanted to.
Meet the toughest guys in the West.
Somebody ought to belt you in the mouth. I won't. The hell I won't.
And hear the incredible rags to riches story of the superstar Maria Sharapova.
It's very hard to get something, and it's very, very easy to lose it.
It's a month of amazing life stories.
You get picked on, and the name Sylvester did not help.
It's January on the Biography Channel. All about people, all the time.
Matchup today with Tampa Bay in the first quarter. A Hall of Famer, Joe Gibbs, with great Super Bowl experience. Can he get him back this year in a weekend NFC? Perhaps. And there, look at Joe Gibbs, one of 4 head coaches to win at least 3 Super Bowl titles, the only one to do 3 different quarterbacks. Now back to Mike Patrick.
Call timeout. What a smart play by Brunell and a dumb play by Tampa Bay.
Brunell goes to the shotgun in a spread formation. Blitz coming. And he throws it away, intended for Thrash, covered by Rondé Barber, the Pro Bowl corner.
Besides 2 terrific head coaches in this game, there are 2 great coordinators defensively. Monty Kiffin, really like a head coach on that side of the ball. John Gruden gives him all of the autonomy he needs. He runs that side of the ball for John Gruden. Gruden handles the offensive side. It's like having 2 head coaches. And Monty Kiffin is proud that his defense got to the rank of number 1 this year.
Number 1 overall. They're 6th against the run, 6th against the pass. 3rd and long. Another blitz. Brunell dumps it off. Liddell bets down to the 35-yard line. A gain of 12 and a first down.
And
there is a
flag on the play
down as well. Mike Carey and his officiating crew working this playoff game. Outstanding group of officials.
What you saw was the veteran leadership of Mark Brunell, just hanging in the pocket and waiting till the last second to dump the ball off to Liddell Betts.
Holding while the quarterback still had the ball on on an eligible receiver. Defense, number 23. The 5-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
That's Jermaine Phillips, the strong safety, who was questionable coming into this game with a knee injury. They'll mark it off after the 12 yards of the play, so the Redskins with a good march into Tampa Bay territory.
2 key third-down conversions by Mark Brunell. Nice protection by the offensive line. I think as this game goes on, it's going to be how well the offensive lines protect their quarterbacks and how much pressure the defenses can bring on them. Right now, the Redskins O-line's doing a good job.
Well, Chris Samuels is really, he's heads up on Simeon Rice on the top side. The left side of the offense, the right side of the defense, and they're letting him play.
Brunell saw 4-4 all those games with the Jackson Jaguars. Portis looking to throw. Moss underthrown. He had him beat. It would have been a touchdown over Dexter Jackson, but Portis hung it in the air.
Boy, I like what Dexter Jackson just did. He saw Portis pull up, and as soon as he did, he headed for the end zone. Now, he didn't really know where they were at, Santana Moss, but when he got to the end zone, everybody is yelling, ball, 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 and that's why they make this call. And watch what Dexter Jackson does. He'll turn and hit the ball. That's perfect.
If he can throw the ball outside more, Santana has a shot.
That worked for a touchdown a couple of weeks ago. Portis this time swallowed up. Hovan and Dexter Jackson flying up from the secondary.
Chris Hovan was brought into this football team, a guy who had to prove himself all over again, was asked to change positions. He played the more aggressive of the defensive tackles. They asked him to move over and be the occupier, the guy who controls the center. He did it selfishly and has been a big addition to this defense.
His career had really stalled in Minnesota. Another 3rd and long for the Redskins. Another blitz. And the pass thrown out of bounds.
This was moved by the Redskins. They were moving before the ball was snapped. And this will be 4th down.
And the Bucs are going to refuse it. They're not going to give Joe Gibbs and his offense another chance to convert a 3rd down.
Brunell.
Illegal motion. Offense. The motion man didn't get set. It's the 4th down.
From here, it would be a 52-yard field goal, and at this point, may be out of John Hall's range.
I was watching John Hall during warm-ups, Mike. Looking at it, I'd say 46 yards on this day looks like his max. So this one is definitely out of his range.
There's a Derek Frost will come on to kick.
There's a Frost in the air.
No, there's one on the ground.
It's going to be in the air, though, in the second one.
Mark Jones, who is 7th in the NFL punt returns, waits at his 10. And Frost puts it in the end zone. So the Redskins pick up 14 yards net. The Bucs of John Gruden will start from the 20.
Each year, a footballer gets his shot. Brilliant as football leagues on ESPN, the Italian Serie A. This week, Treviso is home to take on the great strikers of Roma. Treviso Roma on ESPN.
Look at all the turnaround stories in the NFC for the playoff teams. Tampa Bay, the best at 5-11, along with Chicago Bears. But the Giants went from 6-10, Carolina from 7-9, and the Redskins from 6-10. Michael Pittman will check in as the running back on this series. Sims to throw. Had the ball batted away and intercepted. Arrington to the 5. 21 yards on the return.
LeVar Arrington saw this guy in the lobby last night. He said, I'm going to hit him with my shoulder, with my helmet. I'm going to do a whole lot of things. He didn't tell us anything about intercepting Sims. Here's Arrington getting back in coverage. This ball is hit. Arrington, just in the right position and does the smart thing, man. Protect the ball when you're going to get hit. That ball is batted.
Joe Salavea, and in the first game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the defensive line of the Redskins batted 3 of them, 2 by Phillip Daniels. Because of the short sets of this offense, they feel like they can get the ball batted in the air, and they did.
Salavea is an often overlooked but a very key member of this football team.
Gruden's throwing a flag on this for whatever reason. I don't know. He's throwing a challenge flag.
Mike Carey's going to come over to talk to him. I mean, right off the top of my head, I can't think of what he might be challenging.
Maybe the spot. Well, either that or Salvea shouldn't be allowed to tip anything.
Could be.
That's a new rule for the playoffs.
It's a new rule just for wild card games.
You can see Chris Sims indicating.
The ruling on the field is an interception, and the interception down by contact. It is not a challengeable play about down by contact.
I believe he thought that Arrington might have fumbled at the end of the play. That would be the only reason why John would consider even challenging. You see at the end of this play, as Arrington goes, as LeVar goes down, the ball actually does come out, lands on it, and you see the football, but he was blown down by contact that is non-reviewable.
And his knees were down.
Arrington's first interception since 2001. In the eye, Portis the deep man, Sellers go motion. Portis on the stretch to the goal line, touchdown.
That's the kind of power that Clinton Portis gives you out of a back that you don't expect because of his size.
Well, I think Chris Holvan missed him in the backfield. He was coming down the line of scrimmage. Comes Portis right at you. Boy, I tell you, that's power. That is power.
Well, you run over your Pro Bowler, Chris Samuel, Derek Dockery on your left side. That's about 650 pounds worth of beef over there.
Redskins convert their first break off the interception. Portis goes 5 yards for a touchdown. Clinton Portis runs it in. And the Skins are on top of the Buccaneers after this pick. 7-0.
The rock is still alive every time I rhyme. Forever, ever.
I'm not a gangster. You know, I'm not a thug. You know, I'm not into trying to be hard. If you ask me about that on the basketball court, then I say, yeah, I'm hard, I'm tough on the basketball court. But off the court, that ain't who I want my kids to feel like their daddy is. That's just my environment. That's where I came from. I can't be somebody else. All I can be is the best Allen Iverson that I can be.
More Brazilian magic from Real Madrid. That is just exquisite stuff.
This is a great ball.
It was free. And that was perfection in terms of the accuracy of it. A superbly crafted goal for Barcelona.
Tonight on ESPN, Italian football kicks off live as Treviso take on veterans Roma. Then Burton Albion battle the Red Devils of Manchester United live. Treviso Roma, Burton Albion, Man United, only on ESPN tonight. The march to Super Bowl 40 continues with the second game of ESPN's live Wild Card Weekend doubleheader. The defending champion Patriots are home at wintry Gillette Stadium to tackle the Jacksonville Jaguars. Don't miss a second of the wild ride as the teams battle on the road to the Super Bowl. Jaguars, Patriots, live next. The NFL on ESPN, home of Super Bowl 40.
In his 6th year in the NFL, this is the first playoff opportunity for VAR Arrington, who is convinced he's not going to be back with the Washington Redskins next year. They owe him a roster bonus and then an awful lot of money toward the salary cap.
Mike, I believe he will be back. I had a chance to talk to him this week. He wants to be back.
Pittman is deep. Another short kick by Hall. Pittman on the run. Behind the wedge, and Pittman again takes it up near the 40-yard line. Another terrific return. James Thrash, who is huge on special teams for the Skins, made the tackle. The Redskins break on top thanks to that run from Clinton Portis.
Can you be a poker player and not have a nickname?
We'll have the second half of our wild card Saturday doubleheader. Tom Brady and the Patriots start their quest for an unprecedented third straight Super Bowl title as they go against the Jaguars here on ABC, the home of Super Bowl 40.
Tampa Bay's first 4 plays, a 3-yard run plus, a minus 3-yard run, an 8-yard sack, and an interception.
That's not bad for Greg Williams' defense.
You bet.
Cadillac Williams back in as the tailback. Mike Allstott is the fullback. Cadillac again. Dancing around the hole. Philip Daniels wouldn't let him outside.
Chris Sims had a career high in this last meeting they had in November. 3 touchdown passes. Had a quarter rating of 190. And the situation he's faced with now is, can he bounce back? The first pass he tried to throw, he was sacked. The second one was intercepted. This is a defining game for him, I believe.
The Redskins defense probably a little more conservative than usual today because of the injury to Sean Springs. 4-man rush. Sims dumps it over the middle. And Cadillac Williams, not much. Let's go to Susie.
You know, Chris Sims did not appear flustered on the sideline after that interception. Second series of the game. It's a tough way to start, but you have to appreciate the pressure that Sims has been under his whole career. The extra scrutiny, Little League, high school, college, the pros. But Gruden marvels at how he's handled it. And Sims believes even the tough times when he was Texas, labeled not being able to win the big game, it's all made him tougher to handle situations like this.
Short yardage here, Susie, and Allstott is the single setback. 2 tight ends, both to the right side. Allstott. Look at that power. He's done it for years. He is just such a superb short yardage runner and much more than that.
Gets excellent blocking out front. John Wade, Manhan, and Benning. These 3 guys in the middle. They're going to run him up the middle. Watch it. Look at the Wade's block down, and that hole is there. Now, you talk about Clinton Portis, you're not going to him down with 1 man. You're not ever going to bring this guy down with 1 arm.
He's only gained 85 yards rushing all year long, but he has 5 touchdown runs. Short yardage, he is almost unstoppable. Sims with a deep drop. Plenty of time. Goes underneath. It's the rookie tight end, Alex Smith. And Alex Smith can't get back anything more than the original line of scrimmage.
When we had a chance to talk to Greg Williams last night, and you saw it on that play, he said, what we want to get Chris Sims to do is start patting the football. What he basically says is when that back foot hits, I want him not to be able to get the ball off in rhythm. I want him to pat it and have to look for second and third receivers. They're trying to keep Joey Galloway out of this game as a Redskin defense. They don't want him making big plays like he did the first time.
And Galloway is the key to this passing attack. Four-man rush again. Sims, Allstott this time in the flat, breaks 1 tackle, then knocked out of bounds as he got to the 40. If you joined us, here are the big plays in this ball game. Sims early on had the ball tipped by Joe Salavea and picked by LeVar Arrington. And the former All-Pro linebacker put it back to the 5 where Clinton Portis took it in for the touchdown. That's where we stand 7-0. Right now, the Bucs in Redskins territory at the 38, 3rd and 3. Pittman checks in on 3rd down. Blitz coming. Sims underneath has the first down. That's complete to Ike Hilliard, the former New York Giant.
Let me just tell you something that's happened. In the last couple of plays I've watched with Cadillac Williams in the game, when Chris Sims goes fakes to him, the defense is there. But once he fakes and he checks out of the backfield, nobody's covering him. And they've got to see this upstairs, and they've got to just drop the ball off to him. Get it to the guy that can score for you in the open field.
He was, after all, the NFL's Offensive Rookie of the Year. First down at the 34. Williams, no place to go. Redskins say the ball is loose, and they got it. Still loose. Picked up by the Skins. Sean Taylor. We haven't heard a whistle yet, and Sean Taylor is gone for the touchdown.
That is visions of last week against the Philadelphia Eagles. Sean recovery that goes into the end zone. And I just got to believe that John Gruden somehow, way, shape, or form, will try and challenge this if he gets a look-see at it.
He said, hey, Cadillac, did you drop it?
Are you on the ground? The ball? No, the ball's out.
The ball is out. It's an outstanding call.
Marcus Washington was the man who hit him.
I'll tell you, the only thing that's going to be a question here is Cadillac Williams touched Marcus Washington while he was on the ground, because he does reach his arm for the ball. Now, if he touches him with Washington on the ball will come back. That would be the only thing.
Boy, that just looks so much like the Eagle game last week for the Redskins.
Doesn't it?
Sean Taylor picking it up and making a big play for this defense again.
We will find out when we come back. The Redskins have 2 touchdowns or just 1 in possession.
Each year, a footballer gets his shot.
Brilliant goal!
Each year, a giant will fall. Each year, prayers are answered, dreams are dashed, and hopes of clubs, both great and small, will fix onto a single goal. ESPN presents coverage of the oldest tournament of football, the FA Cup, with live match through the final. The FA Cup on ESPN.
Hollywood has the Academy Awards. Now poker has Royal Flush Awards, better known as the Flushies. 2004 was the year that the highlight culture invaded poker, raising the ante on post-hand celebrations. Greg Rains may have been the biggest. Matthias Anderson, the loudest. There was one other performance, however, that Flushies could not ignore. With entrances so grand, reactions so spectacular, and perhaps the best line ever spoken after getting busted.
If there weren't luck involved, I guess I'd win at 1.
Phil Hellmuth turned in a transcendent performance in 2004, earning him the Flushie for Performance of the Year.
End of interview.
ESPN presents coverage of the oldest tournament in football, the FA Cup. More live action from the 3rd round as Bolton Albion take on the mighty Manchester United. The FA Cup on ESPN.
Mike Carey taking a look at the tape. Remember, the call on the field was a fumble and a touchdown.
Now the ball comes out. Right there, you can see the ball is out as it hits the ground. The question here is, Marcus Washington touched while his knee or any part of his body is on the ground by a Tampa Bay Buck. You see, now right there is a foot. That is a foot and a leg of Cadillac Williams trying to touch Marcus Washington. Did he touch him?
Hey, it looks like
indisputable evidence.
And the call is that he didn't touch him on the field.
That is correct.
So they have to find indisputable visual evidence that he was touched in order to overturn the touchdown.
And it is
in either
going to
case
be overturned because
in either case, I can say this: it looks like Chris Sims has settled down from what happened early in the game for him, picking up some key first downs.
Thank you to partners Miller Lite and Hess for sponsoring today's playoff game and for providing each fan with a Buccaneers battle flag. After reviewing the play, there is no evidence that the recovery was touched. Therefore, the scorers could Tampa Bay would be charged with their first team timeout.
Marcus Washington causes the fumble, makes the initial recovery. Then when he fumbles, it's their big-time athlete at safety, Sean Taylor, who picks it up and goes for the score.
And there's a guy who did not play the first time that these teams played. Sean Taylor around the ball, hitting people. And this defense is swarming all over. Net ball's on the ground. Look at him come from out of the screen, scoop the ball up, and take it on into the end zone.
The Redskins defense turning into a turnover machine at the right time. Last 4 in fourth quarter at Philadelphia. They have 2 in the first quarter here in Tampa.
Put the ball on the ground. They have 1. And both of those things, 2 of those things happened, ended up in touchdowns. Wow.
And now it'll be interesting to see how Tampa Bay
responds to what is an emotional shock, being at home, going down 14-0. Pittman, the deep man again. Hall, a back kick this time to the 5. And the first time the Redskins have stopped him shy of the 30.
Brought down by number 20, Pearson Prelow.
Here where these teams would go depending on who wins. Buccaneers against the Bears. That's if the Bucs wins. The Redskins would go to the Seahawks, a team they have beaten this year.
Joe Gibbs says, you know, I really don't have to do much on offense. I've got a defense. No football. Yeah. You're right.
Cadillac Williams. Nothing. That Redskins defense is swarming the line of scrimmage. They said Chris Sims is the guy that's going to have to beat us. It's not going to be Cadillac Williams.
Well, they said that the first time and it happened, but Cornelius Griffin in the middle gives them a tremendous presence. I like what John Gruden did on that play. He gave the ball back to Cadillac Williams. He's basically saying, I have confidence in you. I'm not giving up on you. And secondly, he's not just dropping back and throwing against the team when he's down 14.
Three-man rush. Sims has to go underneath again, and Walt Harris immediately wraps up Alex Smith, the tight end.
You know what happens on first down, though, is that the Washington Redskins defense are on the line of scrimmage, so they stop Cadillac for no gain. It puts Chris Sims in a position where now he has to throw the ball on second down, and he has to pick up at least 5 or 6 yards, and they're not even getting close because they're now playing pass on second down, and he has nowhere to throw the ball.
Here's some really bad news for the Redskins. Walt Harris is hurt. They already have lost Sean Springs for this ball game. Carlos Rogers, their rookie corner, has just come back this week. So they really don't have a starter in there in the secondary at corner.
And you have to wonder, was Walt Harris hurt by someone other than Sean Taylor? Because Sean Taylor is just a missile coming flying towards anyone that has the ball.
Could have been drilled by his teammate as he tried to drive the tight end Alex Smith out of bounds. But they're still tending to him on the sideline.
Don't you love this? I mean, when anybody asks the Redskins, Greg Williams especially, what kind of a defense would you call this? They all look and they say, attack. And that's all they do. They attack you. At the line of scrimmage, from the secondary, they attack.
Harris was able to get up on his own and walk back toward the bench.
There you see Harris on the ground, and then all of a sudden you just see him get bowled over.
Looked like Warwick Holdman may have gotten him with a knee in the side of the helmet. Sims is 5 out of 6, but only for 19 yards. Here's the 3rd and long. Man rush. Sims underneath, but only picks up a couple, and Pearson Prelow comes flying up from a safety spot, and they have this Bucs short passing game figured out right now.
Sooner or later, John Gruden in this offense is going to have to try and take a shot down the field with Joey Galloway. Whether he cleats it or not, he's got to back off those corners and those safeties of the Redskins.
Bidwell to kick, and Antonio Brown will go back, waiting outside the 20. One of the fastest guys ever to wear a football uniform is Antonio Brown. Low line drive kick. Can't make the catch. Will get it on the hop. He's drilled, fumbled the ball. The Redskins got it back. What a break for Washington. Torrey Cox just unloaded on Antonio Brown, and now Tampa Bay says they have.
No, they're giving it to Washington.
3 Redskins covered it. I don't know how they thought it came loose.
I'm going to make a prediction right now. Antonio Brown will not be back. I believe that Joe Gibbs will turn to Santana Moss to put him back there to protect the Redskins in the kicking game.
I'm going to tell you what, Michael. You say this guy's one of the fastest guys in football? You got to get in the open first before you're fast.
Well, he just took his eyes off the ball. I mean, he sees the defender come. He doesn't try and catch it. That's the reason they cut him before. So I would be surprised if Joe Gibbs leaves him back there.
That got the fans back into it. They're on their feet here in Tampa, but the Redskins do possession. Liddell Betts has checked in as the tailback on this series. And Betts will get about 3 to the 24-yard line.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Boy, Antonio Brown had to wait a long time for that ball to come down after it bounced, and then he paid the price.
That is precarious. When you feel the defender coming at you, and the ball doesn't get there quick enough. It gets there simultaneously with the defender. That's usually the result.
Well, then he really felt the defender after that.
Well, that's when you just get away from it. You're up 14. Don't do anything stupid on a return.
The Bucs show blitz. And it's Betts again, this time to the 20. Simeon Rice, tracking down from his right defensive end spot, made the tackle.
Well, there's two places today on both of these teams where you really don't want to try to run a lot. And that's right up the middle and then right up the middle.
They're just not going to let you.
No.
They're not. And the way the Bucs have played their defense, they're walking safety up, basically defying Mark Brunell to throw the ball down the field to wide receivers.
Another third and long. The Redskins, both clubs, in fact, have already had several of these. Brunell under pressure, hit as he throws. And Mike Carey says it is incomplete. Simeon Rice hit him, but it is an incomplete pass.
I'll tell you, Simeon Rice, we sat down and talked to him the other day. He just told us point blank, I am the best defensive end in all of football. Now, if you want to be that, you say that, that's okay by me. I don't care. I'm not going to argue. But look at him on Chris Samuel coming in. I mean, he is in his face.
Chris Samuels keeps giving ground, and Simeon just keeps on coming.
Guess who got the ball in the end zone? Simeon.
He said he was going to use his athletic ability because he was brilliant. You know what? I agree with both those statements.
You bet. I'm not going to argue with him.
He has never been a shrinking violet. Derek Frost to kick. Jones taken down at the 37-yard line. 9-yard return after a punt of 51.
Well, pregame, Simeon, here's how he gets himself ready. Look at this. He gets launched. I mean, he pulls himself and snaps. Now he's at full speed. I think with this guy, on the first step, he's at full speed. Chris Samuels, if he hits him the first time, I thought he might have had a chance at the ball the very first shot at Brunell. He missed him and then just stayed with it and came back and knocked the ball out.
I'm going to make a venture. If the Redskins getting third and long again, I don't think Joe Gibbs is going to leave Chris Samuels alone without having some kind of help over there.
Well, Rice finished third in the NFL in sacks because of that speed and determination. Sims underneath. Loose ball again goes out of bounds, this time for the Bucs. They get a break as Pittman made the catch and was drilled by Arrington, and the Redskins have another injury. That's Ronaldo Wynn, their fine left defensive end. The Bucs, the first 4 times they have had the ball, their long drive is 27 yards. That ended in a fumble. It's been a study in ineptitude so far for Tampa Bay's offense.
You know what's amazing? And we're up here and they are down there getting whacked. But I'm going to tell you, in a game, any game, not just a playoff game, but you see Cadillac drops the ball, Pittman drops it. But I know they're getting hit. But your job, when you have the ball in your hand as a receiver, as a runner, protect the ball. Here's Ronaldo Wynn, number 97. Actually, his own man hits him, Daniels.
It looks like his forearm, his right forearm, I believe, hit Philip Dane's helmet. And goodness only knows what happened to it. He grabbed it.
And this is one of the few times this year that the Redskins have had Wynn, Griffin, Salovea, and Daniels all together on that defensive line.
Well, they brought the card out, so it is serious.
It's a shame to see Ronaldo Wynn, a very bright, charming guy.
You know, you can see Philip Daniels right there. He is upset, but he's going for the passer. He's doing his job. It just so happens that you got two defensive ends that are coming at the same point, and they collide.
Well, it's a 14-0 lead right now. And a reminder to tune it in every Friday here on ESPN for your next edition of NFL Seminole. Alvaro Martin and Raul Alegre will get you primed and pumped for the upcoming weekend's NFL playoff action. You see all year long here on ESPN. Keep it here for a playoff edition of NFL Seminole. Now back to the final 23 seconds of the first quarter in Tampa.
They have immobilized the right arm of Ronaldo Wynn to put him on that cart. And certainly it looks like a significant enough injury to keep him out of the ball game. The good news injury-wise for the Redskins is that Walt Harris is back out on the field. And our best goes out to Ronaldo Wynn. Well, if you're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, offensively and defensively, what do you do now? You've been shocked. With the first quarter almost over, it's 14-0.
Well, I think the shock is the right word, Mike. You've been shocked, but they put a pretty good drive together before Cadillac Williams fumbled the last time. Even though it was only 27 yards, they have pretty decent field position. It's a 2nd down and 5, 2nd down and 6. John Gruden can still run the football. You do not want to turn this into a game where you have to drop Chris Sims back and throw it constantly. It's not out of hand yet.
Paul, we've all seen when you start making mistakes sometimes, there are times where you can't stop. It's the avalanche.
But the one thing that they just cannot do, and with I don't think he will, because he loves this offense so much, and this is his offense, don't get away from your game plan. Yeah, you're down 14, but you're only in the first quarter of this football game. You got 3 more to go.
They have not thrown a ball in the vicinity of Joey Galloway yet. Everything has been underneath. This, again, intended underneath for Allstott. It was hit by one of the Redskins defensive linemen and knocked down again.
But Chris Sims cannot continue to throw that low ball into this defensive line. Watch these guys. They're coming up the line of scrimmage. There's Daniels. There's Salvea. And they're just knocking the ball down. And
But Paul, those are the plays that are being designed. John Gruden may have to call something down the field.
Galloway to near side. 3rd and 5. Snap it. Arrington may be a little offside.
LeVar Arrington does not play a lot on 3rd down for the Redskins. He basically plays only on 1st and 2nd down. And if he does that again, Greg Williams is going to be really upset and won't play on 3rd down. You really have this team reeling. Now all of a sudden you give them a cheap, basically a cheap 1st down. They didn't work for it. They didn't have to earn it.
They haven't been able to get many on their own.
Right.
They got Galloway in the slot. And he's in motion.
Sims hit Galloway a little swing. They're trying to use that quick speed to get to the outside. That's the innovation of John Gruden. Give it a way to get the ball to your playmakers. Now they restart clock, and that's the end of the first quarter. The Redskins have stunned the Bucs 14-0. ABC Wildcard Saturday continues after this message and a word from our AC station. Ready for the start of the second quarter here in Tampa. The playoff game between the Bucs and the Redskins. Patrick, Joe Theismann, Paul McGuire, Susie Colbert, our entire ABC crew. Glad you could join us on a beautiful day in Tampa, Florida. Chris facing a 2nd and 3 with Cadillac Williams, the deep man, in the eye. Cadillac gets the call for the first time, a little running room, and has a first to the Redskins 41.
Do you know what? That almost looked like the Redskins knew exactly where Cadillac Williams was going. Because just before the play, the whole defensive line shifts to its right. Watch. Just before the look at this. They're all in the line. And Cadillac Williams goes to the middle where it's an opening. But it's almost like they knew the count and the play.
See, and I think this is the part of the place on the field where if you're going to take a shot, a good place to do it.
Galloway, the only wide receiver, and Sims is rolling that way. Throws underneath. The catch made by Anthony Becht at the 31 near a first down. Ryan Clark makes the tackle, but the veteran tight end made the catch.
Joe, you may want to throw the ball at Joey Galloway, but man, I'm telling you, they got two guys on him. They had him all the way. Sean Taylor, as soon as he sees Galloway break, he's gone. Here's Joey Galloway. Just a look at this on the outside. Look at Sean Taylor, 21. He's on his way.
That's what they didn't have in the first game, the speed in the secondary and the safeties to be able to run with Joe Galloway.
That's the longest pass play for the Bucs so far today, a gain of 10. Cadillac stutters up and he lost a couple of yards.
Cornelius Griffin. What an addition he is back. He did, like he said, we didn't play in the first game. He really is a mismatch inside for anybody. He's a beast. He's over John Wade. Now he just splits the middle. 2-3 people try and block and bang. All of a sudden, running backs on the ground for a 2-yard loss.
Sims against the four-man rush, finally gets pressure in his face. This one is finally complete to Galloway downfield. He's inside the 20, has a first down.
This was outstanding blocking by this offensive line. But your guy again, Cornelius Griffin, was back to backfield with Chris Sims. And look at this protection, first of all. Now Sims can look downfield. He sees Griffin coming. He takes his shot, but Chris Sims stands in there and gets the ball to Galloway.
What happens is they bring Joey Galloway inside, and it's a little bit more difficult for Redskins secondary to identify and double him. He finds the soft part of the defense.
Rodgers and Taylor were talking to each other after the play as if the other one had blown the coverage. Cadillac Williams up the middle again, stuffed after a short gain. Let's go to Susan.
Well, let's go back to Joey Galloway, and one of the keys to how well Sims and Galloway have connected, they became good friends first, just hanging out at the back of the stretch line in practice. Last year they bonded, and as Galloway told me, when you get to the field, it makes it so much easier to communicate in the huddle, on the sideline, and if you think about it, you talk differently to your friend. You hear him differently. It's all about trust, and they have it.
And we'll tell you another story about Joey Galloway and Jeff Gruden in a second. Sims under pressure. Down he goes at the 33, and it's Philip Daniels who tied for fourth in the NFL with 8 sacks this year.
This is a case of Redskins coming up and looking like they're going to blitz, and what they wind up doing is backing up, and then the 4 guys up front. Philip Daniels has had a heck of a time putting pressure on Chris Sims. And then you see Chris Kellings, the other guy, coming on in and finishing him off.
Went right by Anthony Davis. It's a loss of 13. John Gruden said when he was a young coach with the Eagles, he went to Ohio State to work out Joey Galloway. He said he ran the 40 in under 4.2. He thought he was running on a short field because nobody can run under 4.2. Sims again has to go out in the flat. This will get about 3 yards to Ike Hilliard.
Field goal time, but they got to put some points on the board. Look at this.
And
like that.
when you think about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Bucs will know this, over the last 2 years, their kicking game has cost them more football games. Now, Matt Ryan has done a good job coming in. He's 10 of 11 from 40 to 49 yards, and really has won some games for him this year. That was one of the biggest difference in their season last year, going 5-11 with missed field goals.
He's hit 21 out of 25. This is from 43 yards to get the butt on the board. And Bryant right in the middle. So at the 10:02 mark of the second quarter, Tampa Bay breaks the ice. They're down 14-3 at home to the Redskins.
ESPN leads the way for sports fans around the world with the big events in 2006. The top clubs of English football compete for the FA Cup. The great clubs and players showcase their talents in Spanish football. The modern-day gladiators battle in the NFL, including the biggest day in American sports, Super Bowl 40. The quest for the top prize of European football continues with the UEFA Champions League. The superstars of basketball scrub their stuff in the top league in the world, the NBA. The hunt for the Scudetto is on in Italian football. Sit in with the high rollers and be dealt in for the 2006 World Series of Poker. Major League Baseball is on deck for 2006 with full coverage on ESPN. The greatest sports around the world with the big events in 2006 on ESPN.
The march to Super Bowl 40 continues with the second game of ESPN's live Wild Card Weekend doubleheader. The defending champion Patriot home at Wintry Gillette Stadium to tackle the Jacksonville Jaguars. Don't miss a second of the wild ride as the teams battle on the road to the Super Bowl. Jaguars Patriots live next. The NFL on ESPN, home of Super Bowl 40.
Snap this. 10:02 to go in the first half. The Buccaneers have scored. They're down 14-3 here at home at Raymond James Stadium. Redskins have Liddell Betts and James Thrash deep for Matt Bryan kick. Betts from the 11 with a running start. Powers his way across the 30 before he's pushed back. Marquise Cooper with the tackle on special team. The Redskins offense will take the field when we come back. Redskins have football with 9 minutes and 56 seconds to go in the first half. They'll start from their own 30 with an offense that has done very little against this Tampa Bay defense so far, but realistically, they haven't had to. Brunell to throw on first down. Out to Moss. Moss got away from Barber.
The only reason he got away is because Rondé Barber slipped on that. Just like the Bucs want to try and get the ball in the hands of Joey Galloway, the Redskins want to do the same thing with Santana Moss. 84 catches, almost 1,500 yards, 17.7 on receptions.
What a brilliant
and 9
year
touchdowns. Incredible year.
1483 is number 2 in the NFL. And we have an injured Buccaneer. We'll check on him when we come back to Tampa.
From Tampa Bay, Florida, this is NFL Wild Card Saturday on ESPN. Beautiful sight of the sun setting. And right now, the Washington Redskins and Tampa Bay Buccaneers battling it out in the second quarter. 14-3 is the lead. Walls was the injured player, the starting middle linebacker. He was able to get off the field under his own power. Stoned on a great blitz picked up by Clinton Portis. Portis moves the pile and has a first down to the 44.
Joe Gibbs told us last night, he says, you talk about a tough guy, it's Portis. Now watch 26 on Quarles 53. He stones him. Clint Portis told us yesterday, Joe Gibbs told us yesterday, he says, Clint Portis said, you know, when I'm running the ball, they want to kill me. He said, I don't have the ball. I'm going to go kill somebody else. And that time he did.
Looked like he caught him with the helmet right under the chin and just knocked him out. Liddell Betts checks in on first down. He's number 46 as the tailback. And around Moss. Knocked out of bounds He took a shot from Dexter Jackson, but he picked up 10. He's a tough little guy.
You start thinking a little bit about the Redskin offense, and to me, Clinton Portis comes in for a play and he goes out for a play. Now, they fake it to... And again, how do you get the ball in the hands of your fastest football player? On reverses, on swing passes, on hitches. Clinton Portis not in the ball game. I thought he played more than he is.
Dexter Jackson just depleted him on the sideline.
Moss just over his outstretched fingertips.
Boy, I'll tell you, he a move on Rondé Barber. And if this ball is on target, it's touchdown. Santana Moss puts a move on Rondé Barber. Here it comes. Bing, bing, and he's gone. Rondé grabbed, but he's within the 5 yard zone, so you can't put your hands out.
They faked the hitch that time, but credit to that front four making Mark Brunell throw a bad pass.
And usually Brunell, a great touch passer, missed on that one. Betts, student body left. Liddell Betts keeping his feet. Barber holds him up, and they kick him out at the 42. Let's check in with Susan.
Well, Mike, after a great season, you're seeing why Santana Moss is coveted by this team. He added explosiveness that they were missing. And for Moss, all about an opportunity, an easy decision to jump from the Jets last year. Just 45 catches, almost double that, to produce the second most receiving yards in the NFL. All Moss ever wanted was an opportunity to have enough chances to be mentioned with NFL's elite.
He wondered if he would ever get the chance, Susie, to live up to his potential. Hurt the first couple of years, and then not considered the prime receiver with the Jets. He's a prime receiver now. Brunell flushed. He can still run and dives for the first down. Mark Brunell needed an extra couple of yards, stayed on his feet, and got it.
It seems like in every game that the Redskins have needed down the stretch, Mark Brunell has done it with his head, with his arm, but also with his leg. This is just good enough. He knows where the first down marker is, does a little hurdle over Rondé Barber.
Simeon Rice is coming up. Now watch, Simeon goes by him. He's rushing from the outside. Chris Samuels is blocking him. He let him take the outside move. Brunell goes inside.
You could tell that the brace on that leg is restricting Brunell. He's a little more mobile in that show. Portis is back in against the run blitz. Got back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a half a yard. Brunell suffered sprained ligament in his right knee week 16 against the Giants when he was hit by linebacker Nick Greisen and forced to leave the ball game. He did not miss a start, though, came back last week and led the Skins to a victory over the Eagles to secure a playoff spot. He had a career-high 23 touchdown passes this year and for over 3,000 yards again. Second and long. Brunell with time and throws out of bounds. Jerron Bolden was there covering Moss, but Brunell was going to make sure if Moss didn't get it, nobody did.
Paul made reference to that block that Clinton Portis put on Shelton Quarles 4 or 5 plays ago. Well, Clinton Portis has been in for one play since that. I think he might have aggravated a stink that he had and got last week in the ball game.
Again, the Redskins are probably out of John Hall's field goal range. They need to pick up some additional yards to give him a chance. Betts, draw play to the 29. From here, it would be about a 47-yard field goal try. Derek Brooks, the veteran All-Pro, made the tackle.
I love when kickers come on the field. John Hall's no different than most. He's whacking himself in the head. You know, I got to wake up because I haven't been out there for a while.
And I think that this is pretty much
his ring.
Yeah, I think this is pretty much on the outside of his ring, watching him in warm-ups.
Hall was hurt earlier in the year, and they used Nick Novak for field goals. 47-yard try. Got it. Plenty of distance. And got it.
So John Hall counters the Bucs' earlier field goal. The Redskins are back up by 2 touchdowns. 5:34 to go first half.
Each year, a footballer gets his shot.
Brilliant goal.
Each year, giants will fall. Each year, prayers are answered, dreams are dashed, and the hopes of clubs, both great and small, will onto us.
The Redskins lead at 17-3 over the Buccaneers. The 2 touchdowns really produced by the defense, Paul.
Well, you know, this defense, again, this is an attacking defense, and if you ask anybody on the defense what they do, they attack. Here's Cadillac Williams. He's trying to get yardage. They're at the line of scrimmage. Now, the interception on a tip ball by LeVar Arrington, and here's Cadillac fumbling the ball. And watch how alert these guys are. I mean, and here's Zach. Now, Sims told us, he said, you know, 3 things I can't do. Can't throw interceptions, can't take sacks, we can't put the ball on the ground. They've done them all.
Michael Pittman deep to receive Hall's kick. Good one this time. Pittman driven back to the 1. Tripped up as he got to the 20. Prelo downfield made a one-hand tackle. There is flag down on the play. Mike Carey to sort it out with his crew.
In the return, holding by the receiving team, number 58. 10-yard penalty. First down.
The Bucs had the 2nd most penalties on special teams this year. Only New Orleans had more in kicking game. Greg Williams, one of the most respected coaches in the NFL, has just signed a contract extension with the Redskins. It makes him by far the highest paid assistant. He is the assistant head coach under Joe Gibbs for defense, but actually the defensive coordinator is Cadillac Williams. Looked like he had a little opening, then gets drilled. But Williams, who has had all sorts of opportunities to become a head coach, decided he's going to stay in Redskin territory for a while. And a lot of clubs were concerned that there might have been something in the contract that would keep him in Washington. You can't do that. And he says there's absolutely nothing to it. There's nothing in the contract that prevents him from leaving. They signed him an extension with a nice hefty raise. And he will be able to go wherever he wants, whenever he wants.
As a head coach, but he doesn't want to.
No, he is very satisfied where he is. Sims, whose success has been underneath, goes to Galloway, and he's swallowed by Lamar Marshall, but it's a first down for the Bucs.
That will be John Gruden's biggest challenge against this Redskin defense. How can I find ways, and where can I put Joey Galloway to get him in position to be able to make plays and get his hands on the ball? There it is, right across the middle, working in and around the linebacker.
This is not what you expect out of Galloway, who averages 15.5 yards a catch. But the Redskins have denied him anything deep. Again, underneath, this is Pittman.
You know, when you talk about Greg Williams, Mike, I think what makes him so special is he really understands offenses. He understands what people want to try and do against his defense. So he gives them one look and then changes up and does something else. But the thing that he drives home is you have to tackle and you have to be aggressive. He asks his football players to play certain places and get the job done.
And boy, do they respond to him. Cadillac makes a couple of cuts, takes it to the 29-yard line.
The thing about him, he came into our meeting last night. He had a big old briefcase, a bunch of notes and things. And basically, what we wanted to ask him was, all right, who's not going to play and who's going to play? And tell us a little bit about your defense. He was ready to spend the night.
Well, and you know, he really sitting down with him was like sitting down with Joe Gibbs. I mean, Greg had all the things on the defense side of the ball you wanted to know. Coach Gibbs had everything on the other side of the ball that you wanted to know.
And it's the same thing with Tampa Bay. Those defensive coordinators have tremendous autonomy from their head coaches. They run that side of the ball. 3rd and short. Sims wants to throw, goes underneath, complete for another down to Hilliard. So obviously Tampa Bay doing what the Redskins are giving them, which is short passing game.
How about the credit you have to give John Gruden to put really the fate of this football team in the hands of Chris Sims. He has a lot of confidence in Chris Sims and what he's capable of doing.
Joe, look at the middle of this field. You've got two defensive tackles spread out over the... Look at the room. If you had a quarterback, and if Sims ever ran a quarterback draw, he could run for 15 yards.
Clock ticking down as we approach the 2-minute mark. Sims, man in his face, completes this one to his tight end, Alex Smith, and Smith to midfield. Smith, a good-looking rookie out of Stanford. And the Bucs moving what looks to be their best drive of the ball game. They're at midfield, 2 minutes left in the half.
On ESPN for the NFL halftime report, we will get off with Center in-game. Get caught up on all you need to know on this wild card Saturday. Now back out to Raymond James Stadium, Tampa.
Is it cold in New England?
Oh, you're cruel.
It's not here. It's really nice here. I got a nice jacket.
Al and John are going to love for that.
Chris Sims, 15 of 17 today, but 94 yards. Long pass play, still 10. Sims again underneath to Galloway.
I am really impressed with Chris Sims' patience. John Gruden is calling a game and allowing his young quarterback to get set and find the openings and the holes in the Redskin defense. 16 of 18, I don't care who you are, what the type of game is, that's special. And they're all on the money. These aren't great catches. These are terrific throws.
Redskins haven't blitzed in a long, long time. They've been coming with 4 men, and they do again.
Get rid of it.
Sims under pressure, throws it away. Good job by Sims to get out of there. Demetric Evans and Cornelius Griffin applying the pressure.
Yeah, we asked him yesterday, or Dave yesterday, what he got from his father, Phil Sims. And he said, I'll tell you what, I got standing in the pocket, I got patience, and it all came from his father. You know, when this young guy was in high school, he used to sit down with his father, Phil, and they'd watch film all the time. I mean, this kid learned an awful lot from his dad.
Standing in the pocket means you got to be tough. You got to take shots.
He's tough. I'll tell you, he's a big kid. He's a big man.
Here comes the blitz, and they got it. Greg Williams said he was going to be very judicious with it. Omar Stoutmeyer came flying up from a safety spot that time, and when they have come with it, they've made it count.
The classic example of a delayed blitz. Omar Stoutmeyer, number 23. He's back in the back. See him? Look at the delay. He waited for the hole to open, and once it did, he had a straight shot at Sims.
It looked like he was 20 yards away.
He was, and I think he tried to get Walt Harris to drop back to the middle. That might have been a blown blitz, which the Redskins lucked out on. See the discussion that's going on the sidelines? Secondary guys sometimes miscommunicate. That they got away with.
Tampa Bay moved the ball very well, but now they have to punt, and Antonio Brown is back, waiting on Bidwell's kick. Fair catch this time, and makes it at the 14. 36-yard kick, no return, 30 seconds to go in the half. Let's check in with
Mike, the big story of the game has been the play of this Redskins defense, one of the best in the NFL at scheming. And LeVar Arrington, it's his first playoff appearance, and he makes the best of it with the interception led to the Clinton Portis touchdown to make it 7-0. The Redskins just kept on coming. Marcus Washington, who was this Redskins defense, forces the fumble. Sean Taylor, who missed the last meeting, picks it up and takes it in. From there, field goal, but the Redskins with the 17-3 lead going into the half.
And Susie, right now they have no interest in doing anything but taking a knee and going to the locker room to talk about the final 2 quarters of the playoff game against the Bucs. What a first half for the Redskins.
Both defenses have played extremely well, and it looks like Tampa Bay's offense has found some rhythm, but that's a little bit of the problem you run into. When you start commit to throwing the football, lots of things can happen.
Joe just never lost a ball game when he went to the locker room with the lead. That's the story, the first half from Tampa. Let's go to Chris Berman. Boomer.
The Redskins, an impressive first half performance, a 17-3 lead over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Buccaneers won the NFC South. Skins come in as a wild card, but right now Washington on the road with a nice halftime lead. Of course, this is just game one of our wild card Saturday double. The AFC version coming your way just as soon as the Buccaneers and the Skins are done. Tom Brady and the New England Patriots, two-time defending Super Bowl champion, playing host to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Keep it here all evening long on Wild Card Saturday here on ESPN. When we come back, we'll have some more from the NFL halftime report. An impressive performance by Joe Gibbs' Redskins with a two-touchdown lead over Tampa at halftime. Might have been tipped by a defensive lineman, but it goes to the wrong team. And on the very next play, Clinton Portis has a hole, and watch him finish off that run, blasting across from Chargers 7-0 Washington. How about Cadillac Williams, rookie here? Is stripped by Marcus Washington, who picks it up and then fumbles himself. Best thing that could have happened. Bounced right into Sean Taylor's hands. Guy with some real wheels. He goes 51 yards for score. Just like that, it's 14-0 in the first quarter. And right now, John Gruden's Buccaneers are down 17-3 at the break. Some serious halftime adjustments got to be going on in that Tampa locker room. When we come back, have Sports Center in as part of the NFL halftime report. Where the Buccaneers have dug themselves a bit of a hole in their NFC wildcard matchup with the Washington Redskins. Redskins in the playoffs for the first time in 6 seasons, and the first playoff game for the Hall of Fame coach Joe Gibbs in 13 seasons. Now, here's a look at the quarterback matchup. Hadn't been a whole lot done by Mark Brunell today. 3 for 8 for just 33 yards. Hasn't made any mistakes, though. Chris Sims, 16 of 19. That's pretty good. Yardage is pretty low, though. A lot of short stuff underneath. And he threw that one interception that led directly to a touchdown. Let's get back out to Raymond James Stadium for the start of the third quarter.
Clinton Portis has been in and out of the lineup with that stinger. Right after he hit Shelton Quarles with that great block, it looks like he might have aggravated. I'm curious to see what status is. Now, he's putting a jacket on, and the Redskins are going to get the ball on offense. So I'm not sure whether we're going to see him or not.
Bryant will kick off. Liddell Betts is back for the Redskins. Taken by one of the up men. Sellers has it. Sellers was in the wedge, but on the very short kick, it's it back to the 31.
You know, when you talk about Clinton Portis, you talk about how he runs. Here he is away from the ball. And the guys that he's hitting, he's not hitting back. This guy's happy. He's dancing. What does he hit? Brooks, linebacker. Quarles, linebacker. And Stone, Quarles. I'm going to tell you what, this guy is a tough guy.
That will take over the running back spot as Portis remains on the sideline. And obviously, something is not right with Clinton Portis. Blitz coming. Betts. Bigger and a hard inside runner, although it's really more difficult to find somebody that runs harder inside than Portis. Here are the first half numbers. Total yards, both teams under 100. The one number on there that counts more than any, the 2 turnovers, because those set up the 2 touchdowns.
And also time of possession, almost 2-1 for the Redskins, which was the way it was in the first game. The Tampa Bay, excuse me.
That's again nothing.
I'll tell you one thing, that it changes the entire complexion of the Washington Redskins offense when Portis isn't in the ball game. Now all they really have to concern themselves with are 2 guys, Moss and Cooley. Now Cooley's only caught 1 pass in the first half. He was wide open. So apparently Tampa's made an adjustment.
Well, Betts is a good inside runner, but he doesn't have the speed that Portis can to break the big ones. Brunell to the shotgun. Empty backfield.
And down goes Brunell at the 33. The pressure came right up the middle from Ellis Wims, number 96.
It did, but I'll tell you what they did. They lined up on a line scrimmage, and they hit. Jermaine Phillips hit Cooley coming off, and he had no place to go. Take a look at Cooley, 47. Bang, he gets hit right there. They got him covered.
That was
thing opened up.
Well, that was Ray Brown that Wims came around. Ray Brown at 43 years old, playing right guard.
Mark Jones forced back to the 25.
Look out.
Jones reverses his field. He's got a chance to get a big one. And the punter, Derek Frost, showed you some speed. That may be the fastest punter that ever lived.
And he's hurt.
In stereo.
Frost could have saved a touchdown as it was to return 23.
On this week's episode of Pardon the Interruption Australia, we take a look at all the action.
Redskins on top 17. Derek Frost being tended to on the sideline. He was able to walk off under his own power. He made a brilliant play to save an even bigger game on the kick return. Cadillac Williams trying to get outside, taking hit after hit after hit. Picks up about 4. Frost goes down hard on that right shoulder.
Yeah, but you know, kickers just aren't used bouncing off the ground. They're trying to make sure, you know, everything all right inside the old eyeball.
When was the last time you heard of a punter on a tackling drill?
Not you played, Paul.
Thank you very much. That's definitely true.
Sims has another one knocked down. Looked like Salavea got it.
Salavea is timing this stuff perfectly.
Greg Williams, I talked to Greg Williams, the defensive coordinator of the Redskins, about knocking the ball into the ground. And what he basically says is what we're teaching our defensive linemen against Sims, because he gets rid of the ball with such short drops. Take 2 steps of penetration, then find his arm and try and get the ball up.
16 out of 20, but only 102 yards for Sims. Everything underneath. Griffin jumps, but he got back. Unless you touch somebody, it's not a penalty. Sims again, over the middle. Pittman, wide open, and Sean Taylor goes helmet to helmet and takes him down at the 24. A gain of 23 yards.
What a nice job by Chris Sims, just keeping his composure. Everybody jumping off sides, steps up in the pocket. Boy, what a move Pittman put on Lamar Marshall, the middle linebacker, number 90. You mentioned it before, Paul. The middle of the football field has been exposed, whether it's Chris Sims having an opportunity to step up, or whether it's Joey Galloway or Michael Pittman running in the middle.
Yeah, they're giving him the middle of the field. They've been doing it. This is now into the 3rd quarter to it.
That was the parting of the Red Sea. Sims on a boot. Inside the 10.
You know what you really like about the end of the play is Vectis really has choices. I could go out of bounds and save my body, or let me just go ahead and punish somebody. Watch this. Bang. I mean, these guys, you talk about contact on the field. Now they're holding on to the football, which they didn't do in the 1st quarter.
Former #1 draft choice of the Jets out of West Virginia. Had to get in.
I know you did.
Jameel with Allstott in the backfield, and Allstott hammers inside the 5.
Oh, he just ran over Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark, I had to believe that he was standing on a train track. And it was the local coming at him. Number 25 comes in to try and fill the hole. He hits him and just gets bent backwards.
This is power. When you watch Allstott run, and we talked about it looking at Joe on him, is that when he hits the hole, his shoulders are square. I'll tell you what, his shoulder pads have to be about 6 wide, first of all.
That's not his shoulder pad.
Then they get wider. But he is really square to the line of scrimmage. And, man, does he unload.
Ron Clark is not the first guy he's run over.
Jameel Cook is in front of him now, and you just got to feel that they're going to give the ball to Allstott going up in the middle. They only have about a little more than a yard and a half.
Allstott had 2 touchdown runs and a 2-point conversion the first time they met. All in short yardage.
Boy, he had no place to go there.
This time, Salavea came in and got down around his knees.
If I'm John Gruden, I'm the offensive coordinator, I have to consider running a bootleg or a play action. Let the Redskin defense all convert on Michael Stott and then go around and make a play.
You know, you really have to sell your body when you're down on the goal line. Just this stuff doesn't matter. These guys are flying around. That's Campbell, number 50, that just jumped in the middle. They you know, there's nothing sacred down here. Go.
Not the place for the faint of heart. 3rd and goal. Tight formation. Bootleg. Sims. Touchdown.
He threw that ball into that ship. That's a pretty good arm. He threw it right into the ship.
Right into one of the cannons. What a play.
Dan Benning led him around the corner.
Look at it. Watch the guard come up. Number 72. Bang! And all he has to do is make a lick contact and Sims. Man, is pretty good. Make sure the ball goes over the pylon. Do you see that?
The goal and extend to infinity. The first touchdown of the game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The point after makes it 17-10, and that got the crowd back in it.
ESPN leads the way for sports fans around the world.
John Gruden and Chris Sims. What a time for Chris Sims. First rushing touchdown of his professional career.
And he threw the ball away.
His dad should have taught him better than that. You save the good souvenirs. The Redskins tell us there is nothing wrong with Clinton Portis. Liddell Betts on the return. Hammers out to the 35. On a great play call, Chris Sims on the bootleg scores the only Bucs touchdown of the game. The 7-point game. The Redskins take over at their own 35. Clint Portis, who racked up 144 yards the first time these teams met. The high for the year against the Buccaneers defense has been held to less than 20 in this game. Moss, what a move! He is so quick, ran right around Brian Kelly.
Mike, I believe in momentum, in life, in anything you do. And right now, the Tampa Bay Bucs, defensively, they stopped the Redskins the first time. They've gone down and scored a touchdown. They now have momentum on their side. When you're on the road, you have to pick up at least 2 or 3 first downs to try and take some of the steam out of this crowd.
Santana Moss was leaning to the inside. He made that catch. Immediately wheeled toward the sideline and got a first down. Portis looked like bobbled that toss. Finally recovered it, got across midfield.
Clint Portis, is a better back if he plays more. Spotting him like the Redskins are doing is not really the way that Clinton Portis is effective. He needs to touch the ball 20, 25 times. And the longer a game goes, the more he touches it, the more he gets lathered.
2nd and 5. Ford again. First down and more. Portis to the Buck 44-yard line. Derek Brooks made the tackle.
I said when they come back, you got to get him back involved in the ball game and get the ball to Clinton Portis, because once you do this, and that's 2 runs in a row, both of them a little over 5 yards, and he picks up in total in 2 runs. But the more you do this, the more the outside opens up, and you've got to get it. Now's the time when you want to see a deep one to Santana Moss.
Joe Gibbs said Portis is one tough dude. He just goes looking for people to hit.
Brunell dumps it, Portis. And he gets laid down hard. Ryan Neese hit him, and then Rondé Barber comes up to him.
Well, this is one of those deals where you eliminate your running back. I mean, there's really no reason to, I mean, if you're smart at a quarterback, I know you're trying to get the ball away. You can get it back to the line of scrimmage, but don't dump it to a guy that doesn't have a chance to do anything. There are two guys in front of Clinton Portis. He catches the ball, but as soon as he does, he gets whacked.
That was only for a 5-yard loss.
Yeah. Why would, I'm sorry. We're up here and they're down there, but you don't throw that pass.
That comes in on 2nd and long. Brunell screen to Cooley. Oh, Cooley lost the ball. Brunell had the best shot at it and may have gotten it. Derek Brooks was the man who knocked loose.
Chris Samuels had the first shot at it. Right now, if this is a heavyweight fight, the cards are starting to line up for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Defensively, they're putting balls on the ground. The only thing is they're not recovering. They've had 2 opportunities, fumble recoveries. They haven't come up with either one. Great hustle by Chris Samuels just to keep the ball alive.
How about Mark Brunell? Yeah, that was great hustle by him. And Derek Brooks made a tremendous move to get away from Casey Robach. 3rd and a mile. Brunell throws it away. Moss was out there double covered. And the Redskins will have to punt it away. And their kicker, Derek Frost, has been treated on the sideline for an eye injury.
But you know what? This defense, and they've been playing well all night long. You got to remember that in the first quarter, the defense got the ball twice. One on a touchdown, and then Ericsson's interception that they took in for a touchdown. This offense for the Redskins, they have not done a thing.
Mark Jones backs inside and makes a very late fair catch signal. 49-yard punt and no return. Chris Sims scored the only Bucs touchdown. He's got the ball back.
The IRL IndyCar. Gruden left Oakland, came to Tampa Bay. His very first season with the Buccaneers led them the Super Bowl title. He'd love to get back there. Chucky, as intense as they come. And they've been flying a little bit below the radar this year. They had a slow start, but they have been hot coming down the stretch, having won 4 of their last 5 for 11 wins on the season.
That bucket of water, Joe, and he almost drank the whole bucket. He's tough enough to do it.
He's defiant. You look up intense in the dictionary and you see John's picture.
Oh, you see Chucky's picture. Cadillac Williams trying to get to the outside. Clark is there. Takes him out of it. Let's go to Susie.
Mike, that last Bucs series fits perfectly into what John Gruden told me at halftime. Despite his young quarterback making just his 13th start, he said he is calm, cool, and composed. No problem. Just have to block better for him. And remember what Sims told us. The best thing about this team is they are battle-tested. They've had to rally lots of times. This is Buck football. It's not pretty, but we don't quit.
And see, that last carry was the first time Cadillac Williams had been able to get outside the entire game. He's got it again. This time inside and spins for what could be enough for a first down. The numbers on Sims, tremendous percentage for 138 yards. Look at the numbers on Brunell. 6 out of 12, only 36 yards. He's only been able to throw the ball 12 times the entire game.
I like the confidence John Gruden is showing in Chris Sims. As a matter of fact, when he took over for Brian Griese in Week 7, he said he did more and gave the kid more to think about. Now, that's a real credit to a coach to challenge his young quarterback.
Out of the eye this time. Sims on that boot. Under pressure, throws to Beck, and he is thrilled the moment he touched it by the rookie Carlos Hodges, the Thorpe Award winner out of South Carolina, who's been hurt a lot of this year.
Well, Beck got hurt, and he walked off on his own, but it's just surprising that he held onto this football. Watch this hit, catch, bang, and he held it.
You get the sense in this game that Joey Galloway is a keg of dynamite. and you're just waiting for fuse to be lit.
Two tremendous defenses battling each other this afternoon. Sims again, screened to Williams. No place to go. Tries to make a couple of guys miss. What defense? The screen turned out to be 3 defenders.
You know, it really is funny. If you did know it, when you looked at it, you would think that the Washington Redskins were the guys who were running this screen.
Wouldn't you?
Because they were the only guys out there. I don't know what happened to the offensive line. When they throw this play, watch the left-hand side of the screen, folks. All you see are white shirts. The offensive line never got out to the outside, but the defense sure did.
Big play here, 3rd and 9. Approaching the 3-minute mark, 3rd quarter. 3-man rush this time. Sims to try to run. Marcus Washington was hitting for him. Griffin was there.
I can believe in that headset that John Gruden said to Chris, just don't do anything stupid.
And he did. He did a good thing.
Oh, now we got
penalties at the end of play. People were woofing each other.
And one of those woofers was Sean Taylor.
Which he is.
He's a woofer.
After the ball is dead, first foul and unsportsmanlike conduct. Defense number 20, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
What a bonehead play
number
by
21.
Sean Taylor. The play's over. You force him to punt.
That's Pittman he's talking to. Watch this, folks. All right, here we go. Pittman hit it for. Wait a minute.
How do you do this? Now, wait a sec. This is something that should be reviewed upstairs. You cannot give a 15-yard penalty to a player that did nothing when the other player hit him.
That's terrible.
I'm very curious to see what the officials in the booth are going to do. This is an extremely bad call.
It's not reviewable.
And an unbelievable mistake. See, in a game of this magnitude, the officials should not be allowed to make this kind of a mistake. And, you know, if it was Sean Taylor that hit Mo Pittman and that happened, then I would have said the same thing. That is an absolute terrible call. That means that nobody saw anything. They just threw a flag.
Instead of punting, the Bucks have a first down at the 37. What a momentum changer. And then Cadillac Williams drilled at the 40. This is a shocking call.
Sean Taylor is right in the middle, number 21. All right, watch what he does here.
Now, all he's doing is jawing. That's all. He's talking. He hasn't. Now, no flags have been thrown. Kerry starts step in. Michael Pittman hits Sean Taylor, and they charge Sean Taylor with the penalty.
I've got all the respect in the world for this officiating crew, but they missed that one.
Well, the worst part about it is Sean Taylor is now on the bench.
Tipped in the air again. Well, hopefully that call will not have anything to do with the outcome of this game, but that...
Now, unfortunately, the other part of that, the coach is mad at Sean Taylor. They get mad at him for creating and giving the Bucks this opportunity. And so the coach is mad at him.
And he didn't
The Bucks get a first down, and he didn't deserve it.
Well, look at the players on the sideline. They're not even talking to him. And maybe the referee heard him say something, but the swing was by Pittman.
And now Sims will have to burn a timeout because the Redskins were the line of scrimmage to blitz. Or will a new champion emerge? When ABC in Detroit to find out. Pre-game coverage Super Bowl 40 starts February 5th at 2:30 Eastern on ABC Sports.
Monty Kiffin was out in the middle of the field. The defensive coordinator. I don't know. Was he thrown out of the game? They didn't say anything.
Sean Taylor is leaving the field, going to the locker room. Well, he has certainly had his problems, but if he's being punished for this, they're wrong. He was ejected from the ball game, we are told. And now it's taking on ridiculous proportions. Sims wants a screen, throws incomplete to Pittman, and a great job by Lamar Marshall right in the middle of that screen.
Let me make a point here. Sean Taylor did not play the first time that the Bucs played the Redskins. So this defense can do it without him.
Joe, what happened was the word we got, he spit in Pittman's face. And that,
and
I'm going to smack you. If you spit in my face, I'm going to smack you, and I don't care how big you are.
If he did that and the referee saw it, then he deserves the penalty and deserves to be thrown out.
Then the official is correct.
But he really put his teammates in a terrible spot. Antonio Brown is drilled out of bounds.
Yeah, they threw flag.
Jameel
dumb
Cook
play.
hit him 5 yards out of bounds.
I mean, what are you thinking about?
This is a game that has the potential to get out of hand, and I'm sure Mike Carey's going to keep it that way. Obviously, he did with the Sean Taylor situation. Both these defenses playing at a very, very high, intense level.
Well, here we go. You're out of bounds. Well,
not much of an excuse for that one.
I mean, the guy almost passed the white line, and he gets hit.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Late hit out of bounds. Kicking team number 43 from the dead ball spot. 15 yards. First down.
Let's go back to the call on Sean Taylor. And if what is being relayed by the officiating crew, and like we said, we have all the respect in the world for Mike Carey and his crew. If they saw Sean Taylor spitting in the face of an opponent, then it is a deserved 15-yard penalty.
It was just before the head slap. You can see his head bob a little bit. But tell me, one of you guys is moving. Someone spit in your face, you're not going out.
Mike Carey's there. He had to see it. He made the call.
Redskins ball at the 49. As it turned out, it didn't hurt them on that drive, but they lose the tremendous speed and hitting ability of Sean Taylor. And everybody is getting really chippy out there. Simeon Rice and one of the Redskins were going at it a little bit after that play. It looked like Robert Royal, the tight end.
Well, you're starting to come down to one final quarter of what you continue to play in the tournament, headed for the Super Bowl, or else you're done, you pack your bags, and you go home.
And both of these teams have played so well down the stretch. The Skins 5 in a row, Tampa Bay 4 out of 5 to qualify. Joe Blinn come with it. Portis with a seam off the left side. Can't quite get out there.
You know what? The Washington Redskins, and you said 4 out of 5 for Tampa Bay, but the Washington Redskins, they've been in a tournament for the last 6 weeks. They've had to win their last 5 games in order to win, and they knew that when they started those 5 games, and they won them all, and they put them here. I mean, that's great.
Joe Gibbs has lost 1 game in the opening round of the postseason. That was all the way back in 1984 to guess who? Maybe best defense we ever saw.
And guess who lost that?
Neat. Joe Theismann lost the game.
Was it your fault?
Sure it was. I saw the game. It was Joe's fault.
Brunell trying to keep the drive. I got it to Thrash. Taken out by Barber, but it's a first at the Bucs 38. And that's the end of the third quarter as well. The Redskins 17-10. Wild Card Saturday continues to this message. And a word from our ABC station.
Weeknights on W. Think crime.
As head coach in the NFL. They have each won Super Bowls. Joe Gibbs has won 3. They share a passion and enthusiasm for this game. Redskins 1st and 10 from the 38. Portis picks up a couple before he's first out of bounds out by Jackson.
You watch this defense go down the line of scrimmage. Now, you know the speed of Portis, and you watch him going down the line of scrimmage. But on the right-hand, look at the left-hand side, look at this, look at this, look at the pursuit, all the way down the line of scrimmage, and just loses a half a yard. But that's great pursuit of this defense.
17-10, the Redskins offense has been throttled nearly the entire game. Rice on top of Brunell. Simeon Rice trying to steal the ball and gets the sack anyway.
He grabbed the jersey. Brunell could have gotten away from him, except you talk of strength, your legs, your arms. How about Simeon Rice's hands? Watch this. There's Chris Samuel there. He's got him by the shirt, and he didn't let go. He had him with one hand, and they got the other one in.
They made the mistake again of allowing Chris Samuels to try and block Simeon Rice one-on-one. They've got to chip him with the tight end. They've got to chip him with the back, or he's going to wind up all over Mark Brunell's back.
Sellers, or Betts rather, to the 46, and the Redskins will send on the punting unit.
Simeon Rice, not only can he rush the passer, but watch his movement down inside. He's waiting for this draw play, this handoff, and he goes right back to the inside. I mean, that's just outstanding play by a defensive end. Adele Betts had no chance, and that's the only play they really could have run without risking an interception.
Frost will kick Jones, and the Bucs defense certainly doing its part. Frost hangs this one up, and Jones muffed it and get it back. A 31-yard kick and an exciting muff by Jones. But the Bucs will have the ball when we come back. Williams on the toss.
Walt Harris just had Cadillac Williams for a 5-yard loss.
Didn't he?
This young man is very impressive. He does a wonderful job of keeping his balance. Talk about keeping your balance after the initial hit. He barely gets the ball. Walt Harris, number 27, right there, right on top of him. And he still manages to pick up 3 yards.
Marcus Washington told us last night the Cadillac Williams runs 30 pounds more than he weighs.
He's a keeper. Sims has been very successful in that short passing game. Throws underneath again. Galloway makes catch at the 24. Let's check in with Susie.
Mike, a lot on Chris Sims' shoulders. Remember, the turning point of this season for the Bucs was when they beat the Sims back in Week 10. It also lifted Sims to a new level. He had never led a game-winning drive his whole career, and he told me he had been dreaming about that in the 7th grade. The ability to lead a team back is what separates the great quarterbacks from the average ones, and the confidence to know no matter what the situation, you can find a way to pull it off.
Well, Susie, not much as far as numbers are concerned except the percentage, but he is doing exactly what he has to do right now. Throws underneath again. Galloway for a very short game. Of course, it's almost 20 years ago to the day in the 1986 NFC Championship game that Phil Sims led the Giants to a 17-0 victory over who else? Joe Gibbs and the Redskins. Gibbs, who has a .661 career winning finish, was only 5-12 head-to-head when Phil Sims played quarterback for the New York Giants. Sims fakes the draw, 4-man rush, and here comes the pressure. Griffin can't get him. Sims still on the run. Now throws it, it's complete. Hilliard makes the catch. His 4th of the day. Sims kept the play alive till he could find someone.
Lamar Marshall almost killed him. At the end of this thing, Lamar Marshall lays him out. But watch what Chris Sims does. Watch after he gets past here. Now, watch him set himself. He's going to square himself up to make the throw, and then Marshall whacked him.
What a play. What an individual play. Of the 10 games he has started, he has had 4 fourth-quarter comebacks. The kid just loves these type of stages.
Boy, they're going to love him for it with this kind of success. Cadillac shakes 1 tackle and picks up 3.
Joe, the way they're down there, let's not call him a kid anymore. We called him a kid at the beginning, and I think he's a man.
He's Chris Sims' quarterback, and a darn good one.
17-10 Redskins. The Skins defense scored 1 touchdown and set up another.
And every time you see on that thing chart with Sims where the interception, remember that ball was tipped.
Sims to Galloway. Beat Harris inside. And here come the Buccaneers, a gain of 24.
This isn't fair for Walt Harris. This is just not fair because Joey Galloway is one of the fastest men in the National Football League, and watch what they let him do. They got Harris trying to catch him inside, and when he's down, Harris just shook his head after the play was over.
Well, they do a nice job of running the route clear and inside. You can't say enough about Bucs' offensive line. Overall, they've had their moments, but overall, they've done a terrific job giving Chris Sims a chance to be able to throw the ball.
7 catches, 69 yards. Cadillac Williams. Harris ends up finishing him off at the 25. Sims on this drive has gotten more production than any other drive of the day. 4 out of 4, 53 yards passing. And the one he kept alive on his own with his quick feet.
We talked about this all the way through this game, but the middle of this defense is open. It's been open all night long. If he has the time to throw it and to get people in there. Because the linebackers are opening up the middle.
Here comes the blitz. They don't get there. Sims out in the flat to Williams. Shakes one tackle. Cadillac Williams close to a first down.
Cadillac Williams sets up Lamar Marshall. This is almost unfair. When you have a back that's this shifty and this good in space, you're asking a converted safety who's now playing linebacker for the first time to try and cover him and tackle him. That is a no-win situation for the Redskins.
Huge play here.
Is Allstott in the game?
I believe he is. He is the up man. Cadillac is the deep man. And Allstott will get it. Goes airborne. This will be close.
He had to get beyond the 18-yard line. If he didn't get beyond the 18, they don't have it.
He might be short. Now, if you're John Gruden, you've gone on 4th down in the last game and managed to get it. You've been feeling really good about your short yardage and goal line offense. Do you go for it here?
Look at Marcus Washington.
You know, if it's short, I go for it because the Redskin offense has done absolutely nothing.
I agree.
And instead of kicking the field goal, I would put my defense right back out on the field, figuring I'm going to get the ball back, and then I'll have a 4-down run if I need it.
Well, they want a measurement to see how far they really have to go.
They're almost going to be almost a full yard. Almost a full yard. You know what happened here? Is Allstott, they had him close to the line of scrimmage. There it is. It's almost a yard. He didn't have enough momentum to get himself up in the air. I would have put him back, the Cook in front of him, in that fullback, in that halfback slot, and then let him go over the top.
No hesitation.
I'd run the play action here. Ooh, somebody should be wide open if he runs play action. It's a gutsy call, but what the heck? John Gruden's made his living on gutsy calls.
It sure worked when you called for it on the goal line. Here they come. And John Gruden wants a timeout.
Well, he didn't like the defense off.
7:41 to go. Back after this. Five in a row. With 7:41 to go in the game, has a 1-touchdown lead over John Gruden. But the Bucs, 4th and 1. This could be the game on the line. Allstott, the deep man. Sims fakes. Pressure in his face and throws incomplete. The Redskins brought the house. Marcus Washington in the face of Chris Sims, and what a courageous call by Greg Williams, the Skins defensive coordinator.
And I don't have a problem with the call by John Gruden. The thing is if you make that call and he gets the first down, fine. If not, you put your defense back in the field. That's not bad for the Bucs either.
Raymond James Stadium in a frenzy. They know their defense has to step up now. The Redskins took the ball back on downs. Liddell Betts is the single setback behind Brunell. And Betts takes it across the 20.
On that last play, you'll see Marcus Washington is not fooled. He's going to go after the runner. Marshall, the middle linebacker, goes out into the flat to cover Jamil and he's got him out there. Jamil Cook. Everybody's covered. Nobody went for the fake. I don't think the Bucs offense sold it very well, but defense of the Redskins reacted extremely well.
That Redskin defense has been brilliant. Clock turning towards 7 minutes. The Redskins offense has done nothing against Tampa Bay's defense in the second half at all. And Betts is creamed. Shelton Quarles, the middle linebacker, just crushed him.
I'm going to tell you what. You talk about the Redskins defense. Look at this defense. Watch him penetrate the line of scrimmage. Bang! I mean, all I can say is the penetration. Their penetration. There's Barber, who's a corner, is up there. They're hitting people.
And Clinton Portis is not in the football game and hasn't been on this series.
The Redskins have gained only 22 yards in their last 5 possessions. What a defensive ball game this has been. 4-man rush. Brunell. Incomplete. Moss was open. He couldn't hit him. The clock is stopped with 6:09 to go, and the Redskins will have to give it right back to the Bucs.
That took a little over a minute. You know, I love that the Gruden went for it. I don't like the play that they called because they ran an all-out pass pattern. They didn't even show run at all to fake him. But the right thing, Joe, you're talking about, they put their defense on the field, and they got the ball right back.
Frost to kick to Jones. The Bucs should have great field position. Nice kick. Mark Jones at the 31 and takes it back to the 35. So the Buccaneers 65 yards away from tying the ball game.
Every day, your home and contents insurance is costing you money. Most of the time, insurance companies just take it.
It's a lot hotter than the weather. Bucs take over at the 35. What a ball game. Cadillac Williams, the tailback. 4-man rush on Sims. Avoids 2, 3, and gets out of bounds.
Oh, and then he's calling out Carlos Rogers when he goes out of bounds. He says, come on, hit me.
What a great job by Chris Sims.
I'll tell you, that fake just kind of froze a few people. Sims goes back in here. Watch this. He looks like he's going to get sacked right there. And that arm swing, then he gets himself to the outside, picks up some blocks. And don't antagonize the defense. Please don't do that. Yeah. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. Don't do that.
That's another thing he has from his father.
A little juice. Sims stepped up too high for Galloway. He was open. Now, he had beaten Ryan Clark to that open area, and he missed him.
Greg Williams talked about Philip Daniels being a pass alterer. What he did that time is he didn't really hit Chris Sims, but he forced to alter the delivery of the throw, and it goes up high. Joey Galloway gets in the hole. One of the rare times he's been open on the outside, but it was the pressure from Philip Daniels that caused it.
Another huge play. The numbers on Sims approaching 200 yards. Can they keep the drive alive? 4-man rush, so Sims has time. Steps up and throws incomplete. Stoutmeyer came from behind on the tight end, Alex Smith. The crowd wanted a flag, but they will not get it.
This is the difference when you have a rookie tight end. Alex Smith runs a nice move, and it looked like Omar Stoutmeyer really got his hand around him, but he'll learn to come back to the ball even a little bit more.
That just looked like perfect timing on Stoutmeyer's part. And now they'll punt it away. Bidwell to kick to Brown. Returnable. Brown gets away from this one.
Far away.
Good idea. While we have a moment, we would like to thank our entire Sunday Night Football production team bringing you today's telecast.
led by our producer, Jay Rossman, our director, Chip Dean, our technical director, Mark Herklotz, and thanks to our executive producer, Jed Drake, also here with us in Tampa. The executive producer of ABC Sports is Mike Pearl, and the executive vice president of ABC Sports is Norby Williamson.
When you start to look at the end of this football game, if you're the Redskins, you want to be able to get at least 2 first downs. That guarantees you about 3.5 minutes off the clock. If you're the Bucs, you want to shut them down, force them to throw, have it become incomplete, and stop the clock to help you.
The home run hitter, Portis, in there at tailback.
And there's a flag on the play.
Portis takes it out to the 22-yard line. There have been very few penalties in this game.
This one's going to go as the Redskins. And this place is going to go nuts.
Illegal formation. Offense. 6 men on the line of scrimmage. Fired penalty is still first down.
The only thing the Bucs have going against them right now with about, 5:04 to go. All right, they have the 2-minute warning. I know Joe was going to say that, so I got it in ahead of time. But they only have one other timeout. Right. They have one timeout. That is the only thing against them, because defensively, they are bringing it.
Redskins offense has been totally frustrated today in Tampa.
Here they come.
Portis runs through a tackle. Portis down the sideline. If he could have kept his balance and not got out of bounds, there was nobody left.
Dexter Jackson saved the touchdown. Take a look at the strength of Clint Portis. Here he comes up into the hole. There's some Quarles misses him. I said at the beginning of this game, you cannot tackle this guy, one guy or one arm. If they don't make that stop there, he's got touchdown.
And Santana Moss is outside throwing a block for him. And Portis may have hurt his left arm. Betts comes back in. And Betts dives forward to the 24. They need to reach the 27 for a first down. The clock running. We've gone under 4.5 minutes.
The Bucs have had the opportunity defensively twice to get their offense some decent field position. They do it one more time, or can the Redskins come up with a big third down? I've talked about play action before for the Bucs. I think this is a good opportunity for the Redskins to try and find Chris Cooley.
Huge third down. Brunell throws back across the field, and it's intercepted. Should have been caught by Taylor Jacobs. Instead, it goes to Brian Kelly.
I'm going to tell you what, you have no idea what a great interception this is, but you're going to see it and appreciate it. Brunell is trying to make something happen, and he's going to try to throw the ball back across the field into the middle. But watch what Kelly does. Up in the air with the ball. You talk about phenomenal hands.
One-handed. One-handed. You'll see this. He knocks it to himself and then makes the interception. If you're any kind of a quarterback at any stage of any type of football, the one thing you learn is you never throw the ball back into the middle of a defense.
It comes down to this with 3:44 to go. The Bucs need a touchdown to tie nothing less. Of course, if they get the touchdown, will John Gruden go for 2?
Only on the penalty. No, not in this game. I wouldn't think so.
Cadillac Williams, the deep man in the eye. He'll get the carry. Picks 5 and then thrown back from the 3.
When Cadillac Williams walked into our meeting the other day, I looked at him and I thought, you know, son, you're too small to play. But he can unload. When he gets in the hole and he knows he's going to get hit. Look, he doesn't have real big arms. He's not real tall. And look at him quarter by quarter. And as gets to the fourth quarter we're in, he's averaging 5.7 yards a carry.
Not too small, man. He's a Cadillac. Sims. Over the middle and incomplete. They had Cadillac out in the pass pattern that time, and he couldn't hang on.
Mike
Pearson Prelo was covering him.
Mike, the other thing, I really liked what John Gruden said about Cadillac Williams. He said this offense needs an every down presence. and he can be our every down presence. And he's proven it here today. He's run really tough, made a lot of guys miss, punishing runner, and like you said, Paulie, he runs 30 pounds heavier.
Well, they got Pittman in there now, and, you know, to fake the Pittman and then throw to him wouldn't be a bad idea.
Sims has missed his last 4, and here's where the Redskins like to bring the blitz. They changed the defense.
He didn't get the play off.
Well, that hurts. Now instead of 3rd and 5, it'll be 3rd and 10.
The play clock expired. But you know what, Mike? It doesn't hurt you that bad because you're in 4-down territory anyway. I'll grant it's not as desperate a situation if you had to kick it or try a field goal early in the game. Here, you go for it no matter what.
How many times does Greg Williams love the blitz on 3rd and long?
If you do that, you're going to leave somebody one-on-one with Joey Galloway. For 57 minutes of this football game, you've managed to keep Joey under wraps. You've got to try and do it if you're the Redskins for another 3.
3rd and 10.
Sims deep. Touchdown. Edel Shepard lost the ball when he hit the ground. Are you kidding? A perfect throw. A perfect throw, and Edel Shepard couldn't catch it.
Incomplete.
Are you kidding?
I'm going to tell you what, this young man threw a ball as well as anybody in the history of the National Football League. This ball is perfect. It is right on Shepard's in his hands.
The ball has come out.
You got to remember something. Now, I know the people are going to scream, but it applies in the end zone the same as it does in the field. When you're being tackled, you come down with the ball. You have to maintain control of the ball, and he did not do that.
He loses possession even before his knee hits the ground. Right here. Now, the ball starts squirting up and away. He does not have control of the ball. When his elbow hits the ground, it comes out.
Edel Shepard had made only 6 catches all year long. He has been forced into being the 3rd wide receiver because Michael Clayton is out with a toe. You think you're going to throw to Galloway, so Shepard is the guy that gets deep and gets open, and Sims hit him perfect.
In the first game, almost the exact same spot on the field. Chris Sims, exactly the same thing. He threw him the football, and he made the play. He has 1 touchdown catch during the regular season, and it was
an incomplete pass because in the process of making a catch, the ball came when he hit the ground. We'll review it with
It comes through. It's the same in the end zone as it is in the playing field. If he's being hit and he comes down, he has to have control of the football. He lost control of the ball. And when you lose control of the ball, there he is, he's coming down. The ball is loose now. And when he comes down, he hits the ground, ball comes out. It's an incomplete pass, and I don't care how many times you look at it.
And if it is ruled complete, it'll be 4th and 10.
Here's some more bad news for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If they lose the challenge, they lose their last time. So this is almost set up a do-or-die 4th down.
We were hoping you'd come up with something good.
No, but don't have anything like that.
Here it is. You see the ball coming out, folks. So again, let me just repeat. It's in the end zone. It's the same as in the playing field. Outside the end zone, you got to have control of the ball when you come down. Joseph?
He beat Carlos Rogers, and the pass was perfect.
You'll see the ball start to squirt up. He catches it now. He starts to bring it in. The ball squirts up. He does not have control right there when his knee hits the ground. It looks like it, but the other shot showed, and then when it comes out.
And remember, the call on the field is incomplete. So they have to have overwhelming visual evidence to overturn it.
If they do lose this, as Paul mentioned, they lose the timeout. They will have 1 way to stop the clock, and that Mike did. Excuse me, I don't want to give him that kind of credit. They'll have 1 timeout left. That will be the 2-minute warning. So if it is ruled that way, they're going to have to go for it and keep going for it.
You're going to make him earn it, aren't you?
Oh, man.
Edel Shepard looking for some help from above.
Here they come.
The receiver, in the process of making a catch, going to the ground, independent of his knee hitting, if the ball comes loose upon contact to the ground, by rule, incomplete.
Well, you know what? Mike Carey, not only is Paul, but Mike Carey does as good a job as anybody that we have an opportunity to work with explaining why thing happened. That's an all-pro explanation.
Final team timeout.
Either way it went, he's just so good at explaining what's happening. Now it's down in 10.
Here is the difference on what would happen if the receiver is not falling down. If it would fall down coincidentally after the catch, he could drop the ball. But because he's going to the ground in the act of making catch, he must maintain possession even if he hits the ground.
And you also have done an excellent job explaining.
Thank you so much.
Well,
you actually like a referee?
I like them when they do a great job.
Like Mike Carey. 4th down. They've got to have this play to stay alive. Sims are going to try to see things complete.
Oh, and he had him open, too. Chris Sims had Edel Shepard open again up the sidelines. Wow. Holy mackerel, I can't believe this. He goes right over here. You're going to see him go right up the sideline, and the Redskins don't really get over encouraged. Good protection. There he is, out and up, and look at this. Look at the space. If he could hit him, he'd have had the second opportunity for another touchdown.
Boy, and Edel Shepard was just hoping against hope that he would get another shot.
Now, the Redskins are going to run the football.
You think?
Yeah, they are going to run the football.
Boy,
there's no question.
The wizard.
I make these observations every now and then.
Boy, you come
I
out
want to
with
save it.
I know. You come out with stuff it's hard to believe.
The Redskins can run most of the clock off. They would have to kick it away with about 30 seconds left if they don't get a first down. There is a flag.
It's going to be against the Redskins again.
Off number 60. 5-yard field, first down.
Coming up, join Al Michaels and John Madden for the second half of our wild card Saturday doubleheader. Tom Brady and the Patriots begin their quest for an unprecedented third straight Super Bowl title as they take on the Jaguars next, right here on ABC Sports, home of Super Bowl 40. The clock
never
moved on that play.
It didn't because it was a legal motion by the Redskins.
It was not a play, so the clock never moved.
And if it did, they would have moved it back to 2:48.
Portis is the running back.
Hit him. Now get up right away. Get away from him. They have to move. They have to spot the ball.
There are 11 Tampa Bay Buccaneer defenders within 4 yards of the line of scrimmage.
They have to run a play.
Yeah, there's a 3-second difference between the game clock and the play clock.
So they can take this down as far as they want and maybe call a timeout, and then they're still going to have to run a play. It doesn't matter. I don't know what they're really waiting on, because it's Tampa Bay. They cannot take any more timeouts. They don't have any.
Portis.
What a defensive football. What a defensive football game.
They'll blow the play dead. 1:59 is the official time of the 2-minute warning. Back to Tampa in a moment.
ESPN leads the way for sports fans around the world with the big events in 2006. The top clubs of English football compete for the FA Cup. The clubs and players showcase their talents in Spanish football. The modern-day gladiators battle in the NFL, including the biggest American sport, Super Bowl 40. The quest for the top prize of European football continues with the UEFA Champions League. The superstars of basketball scrub their stuff in the top league in the world, the NBA. The hunt for the Scudetto is on in Italian football. Sit in the high rollers and be dealt in for the 2006 World Series of Poker. Major League Baseball is decked for 2006 with full coverage on ESPN. The greatest sports from around the world with the big events in 2006 on ESPN. Each year, a footballer gets his shot.
Brilliant goal!
Each year, a giant will fall. Each year, dreams are dashed, and the hopes of clubs, both great and small, will fit onto a single goal. ESPN sends coverage of the oldest tournament in football, the FA Cup. Live matches through the final. The FA Cup on ESPN.
In a dogfight, and we've got it. The Redskins defense punished the Bucs in the first half. LeVar Arrington, his first playoff appearance, led to a Quentin Portis touchdown. The emotional leader of the defense, we just watched it, set up a Sean Taylor touchdown run. The two teams traded goals. Chris Sims trying to get it done to open the second half and made it 17-10. Both defenses have been brilliant.
Susie, speaking of defensive brilliance, the Redskins in an offensive they've gained only 116 yards in this game. If they win, that will be the worst offense production in NFL playoff history. Third and long here. Portis takes it out to the 40. The Redskins will let the clock run.
What Portis wanted to do was gain as many yards as he could. So when you punt the ball, you want to take that Buck offense back as far as possible. And this is what John Gruden is doing. He is putting Joey Galloway back to return kick. I would almost think about kicking this puppy somewhere out of bounds around the 30-yard line.
I don't care where you put out of bounds. Just get it away from Joey Galloway.
The Redskins can take it down to about 112 before they snap the ball. It looks like they're going to use a timeout when they get it down as far as they can.
I mean, this has been an unbelievable battle, of which John Gruden deciding to go for it on fourth down, knowing his defense is playing the way they're playing it. Right here, letting the clock run down to a second, using as much of it as you can as the Redskins. It's been not only a very physical contest, but it's been a great chess match between coaches. Joe Gibbs not wanting to make critical mistakes, and that's been the difference in this football game. The Redskins defense creates opportunities. The Bucs have two of them on the ground. Couldn't get them.
It was 36-35 the first time these teams met. We talked about this a couple of days ago. No way it was going to be 36-35 again. These two defenses were going to come to play today, and they have done it. They have both been brilliant. The Ravens hold the record for offensive futility by a winning team against the Titans back in 2001, but the Redskins are 12 yards below that. Frost,
he shanked horrible punt. He kept it away from Joey Galloway.
No, I meant out of bounds down the field, not at the 46-yard.
A 14-yard clunker. 47.
Yikes. No timeouts, very little clock time taken. I think that if you're John Gruden, you're going to have to put the ball down the field further than 3 or 4 yard completions, because if they are caught, the clock's going to continue to run. If you're the Redskins, don't get beat deep.
Well, they just get 30 yards.
Well, and the one thing, you have time to throw one pass over the middle, which the middle is wide open, and it will be. It's been open all night long. Throw one in middle.
They like to throw to Alex Smith in there. 3-man rush. That one's been intercepted.
I don't believe it.
That is
Marcus Washington.
That is the 5th pass that the defensive line of the Washington Redskins has got their hands on today.
And how appropriate the defensive play would end this game.
Marcus Washington, if you were going to pick an MVP of football defensively, Marcus Washington has been the one. Every time a play has had to be made, he has done. There's again. Unbelievable. He gets it tipped again. He's had 5 of them
Cornelius Griffin.
Cornelius Griffin,
Cornelius Griffin tipped the ball.
Talked about 2 guys play last time. Sean Taylor, Cornelius Griffin. Sean Taylor hasn't played much of the second half because he's getting dressed to go home. But he made the big play in the first half.
Man, oh man.
The Bucs do not have a timeout. All the Redskins have to do is take a knee. And are shocked here in Tampa. The Redskins passed for 25 yards tonight. The worst they have ever done in a postseason game.
Mike, they had 122 down to 121. They're going the other.
And it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. They're setting a record for the most amount of yardage in a game.
I want to make a prediction. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Sims, this defense, this football team, as young as they are, John Gruden has done his best coaching job, as has Joe Gibbs. The Bucs be back.
That is 6 in a row for Joe Gibbs and the Washington Redskins. They have basically been in playoff mode for a month and a half. The final score, the Redskins 17, the Bucs 10.
What a tremendous victory for the Washington defense. Offense gave them nothing. They still came up with a victory on the road in the playoffs. SportsCenter's coming up next for our Latin American audience. For now, it is the Redskins 17-10, an NFC wildcard matchup beating the Buccaneers.
ESPN thanks you for watching this presentation of the National Football League.
ESPN brings you the 2006 World Supercross GP, the wildest thing on 2 wheels, where a split second could be the difference between victory and a face full of dirt. Chad Reed, Ricky Carmichael, James Stewart, and all the world's top riders go all out as we take you through the twists and turns of another season. The 2006 World